Welcome to the Your Leadership Legacy podcast. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I'm so excited to bring you this next podcast dedicated to you high performers out there who want to reinvent yourself, reinvent your business, maybe your career, all of it. This podcast is all about being dedicated to transformation and being the best possible leader of yourself and others that you can be in order to create a legacy that lives on. Welcome to Your Leadership Legacy. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause. I am the founder and CEO of True You Teams. And here we go. Hey everyone, we are live. It's the beauty of live.
Yes.
We never know when we're live.
Never know.
Now you know how like those like old time shows felt when they were live. It's like
Great. You can let Brian know that he made it into our live.
That's amazing.
Hey everyone, it is Rima, Jen, and Tina. We are live with the vision. We were here last week. We've been here a couple of times. This is actually the third time that we've been here with the vision, and we are a group of like women who are really, really focused on helping support leaders to get to the next level. And so vision is so important. And we talked about vision and the importance of creating vision. And today, what we've talked about, what we want to go and where we want to go today is what are some of the things that hold us back from creating the vision that we say we really want to create. I don't know about you guys, but like I have all these great big ideas and all these things that like get to happen. And then all of a sudden something in life holds us back. So I'm curious to know, what are some of the things that hold you guys back from your vision?
Oh, what holds me back from my vision? Well, it's so inspiring to hear the word vision, and so I'm like, what's holding me back? What's holding me back? Sometimes it's my commitment to, number one, myself. I was just thinking about this morning about the gym. How committed am I? I think about it every day, but do I go? No. And my vision is to be this slender, svelte, feel-good woman. And yet I am not committed to getting there. Yeah. So I said, no holds barred, I'm going today. So I am committed. And it's literally like we've been adding this adage, AF, to everything. And so I am committed. And I am committed AF to getting out there and doing it. And that's what's holding me back. It's not just doing it right in the moment.
Yeah, we procrastinate.
That's the feeling, yeah, right? And we all do it. And then we get down on ourselves about it. And then we don't clean it off, clear it.
Yeah.
And wow, there's a cycle.
Yeah, clearing. We get to talk about that. First of all, I want to go to Rima. Rima, what holds you back from your vision?
What holds me back from my vision? I think, listen, I know fear. And I think, and many of us experience different types of fear, right? Fear of success, fear of failure. For me, what shows up, fear of being seen, fear of being out there, fear of getting it wrong in a big way that people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, I mean, like, I feel for people who are like professional athletes or entertainers or, people that are playing a bigger game in the world, because yes, when they get it wrong or they floof it up, everybody knows. And I think for me, that is my thing, because then it puts me forward for comment. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to avoid and protect myself from. I'm like, no, everybody is going to be judging me. And that sometimes holds me back from creating the magnanimous.
It's the second time today I've heard you say flooping it up, and it's my new favorite saying. Flooping it up. I love it.
I think I heard it on a movie and I'm like, oh, I like that word.
I know, I love it. So fear of being seen, Rima, here's the thing. We fear that people are going to judge. We fear that people are going to think we're wrong. We fear all these things. And when in fact, Rima, when I see you in your glory, and it happens often, like that's the last thing I think about. I'm like, wow, look at her and her power, right? Look at her. So part of it too is surrounding yourself with people who are going to lift you up. Because there's a lot of people out there that will judge. There's a lot of people out there that will say all the stuff, but like, how are you, like I'm asking the people watching, how are you surrounding yourself with people who will lift you up?
Yes. I am so honored and humbled to be surrounded by such powerful leaders. And I'm getting the question frequently, how can we support you?
Mm.
And the first thing that comes to my head is continue to create the magic and the miraculous and the big things and floof it up. Like create it authentically and and then jump on and be like, oh my gosh, you won't believe this is what I did. And oh gosh, and then I did that. And then I sent the email out and there was no links in it. And and so I had to send it again. Because that's where, for me, that's where the fun lies, that lands. Doing it perfectly doesn't land with me, because then I look at that and I think, well, why even bother?
Oh, that perfection nerd. Anybody else have that perfection?
Oh.
Oh, it's ridiculous, right? Like we can't move ahead unless it's absolutely perfect. And I can't say what I want to say until it's absolutely perfect. And when we wait for that perfectness, we then are inauthentic. It becomes inauthentic. And so there's this, oh, go ahead, Jen.
I'm really drawn to people that are imperfect.
Yeah.
Because it allows me it gives me permission to be imperfectly perfect too. Mm-hmm. Right? Like this perfect stance. And listen, we're talking about it here on the Facebook, but my girlfriends are talking about it and they're not on Facebook. My friends and older elders and things like this, they're actually talking about this as well. And I'm inspired by just getting down into the messy, right? The uncomfortableness, those feelings of, I'm inspired by women that are just simply feeling, like sharing vulnerably and getting into intimacy, So holding us back is actually sharing our hearts.
Yeah. Well, and the whole imperfection and perfection, speaking of us being right here, we don't have an agenda. Loosely, it's like, okay, we're going to talk about what holds us back from vision, click live, go. And that's how we practice. We're practicing getting messy when we do this. And when we do that, we get to just show up in our authenticness and our imperfectness and just pour into others who are really looking for ways to be free from perfection. It's freeing to be free from perfection, right?
Oh, for sure. I remember when we were a couple of years ago, when everyone was in lockdown, when it first hit, and everyone was trying to figure out work from home. What? With everyone? There's children here, there's my spouse is in the other room. That's Zoom. What? I don't even
the dog's barking in a meeting.
Right. Kids running through, knocking over. It was messy. I loved that part of it, because this was people that I would look up to, oh my gosh, and they're running these big businesses and they're just doing it so wonderfully. I remember a mentor of mine, and she is teaching. She's on camera, she's teaching, and her son runs in and says, "Mom, can I have a donut?" And it was awesome. And she looks in the camera and she's like, "You guys, don't judge me. I don't know how to cook. So yeah, I'm going to give him a donut." And I'm saying it, I'm vulnerable. So if you know how to cook, get on, teach me some things, but I don't. That spoke volumes to me, because that was real for me. I was like, oh, it gave me permission to move forward and do some things and pivot and, take on things I hadn't taken on before, because I was afraid, well, people probably know what they're doing. I don't know who these people are, but people probably know what they're doing. I'm the only one that doesn't know.
I know. When in fact, they don't. None of us do.
When in fact, they don't. And we have this limiting belief in our head that we don't have our poop together.
Okay.
and realistically, we are all the same. We're 7 degrees of difference. And so what else is holding us back is limiting beliefs that, perfection, the limiting belief that somebody outside of, that's why vulnerability is so important. Because we actually, when we become vulnerable to others, we can see that their limiting beliefs are equally the same. Like you just said, Rima, there was people out there that I thought that were way better than me. And in actual reality, you're killing it in lots of places of their life that they feel like donuts are appropriate, right? So it's pretty important.
Yeah. I think about limiting beliefs, and the other, limiting beliefs can be stuff like we talked about, perfection, all that stuff, but not being worthy is a big theme that I hear a lot as well. Who am I? Who am I to spread that message? Who am I to use my voice in that regard? And again, it kind of goes back to perfectionist. I'm not an expert in that area, but I have a voice. I have something I want to say. And so part of like moving forward with your vision is being confident in yourself and feeling worthy. And I know that there's been a lot of times where that's definitely held me back from my vision, because I start analyzing in my head, I'm not worthy. Somebody else should be saying, like, this is somebody else's expertise, not mine. And really, like, the biggest thing that leadership has done for me is given me the tools to like just blow past those. Nope, you don't get to limit me today in that regard. Nope, not going to do that today. And just moving forward with that. But the self-worth thing comes up a lot.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. And
Yeah.
that's where we get to break through. That's where I get to break through. I'm going to speak for myself because this is where I am. This is my authenticity. This is where I get to break through. I am worthy of bringing my magic to the world, and it won't always be perfect. It won't be perfect. It will, and it'll be my brand of everything, So once I can move past the voices in the head of, oh, you're not doing it right, or,
Turn the mirror.
Yeah. And get out there and just do it messy. That's
Rima,
where
what I'm hearing you say is that you will be supportive for another woman looking to seeking permission for herself to get into it too, right?
And that's like, as you mentioned that, like, that is that's like my center. That's my jam.
Your sweet spot.
Right? That's my sweet spot. Encouraging others. I get to turn that on me, because that is my sweet spot. I am really good. Natural encourager. I am great. You hang with me, you are going to fly. You are going to soar. And I get to turn that on me so that because then that'll open up even more doors for other people.
Yeah, because here's what happens. I mean, so what I'm hearing you say is that supporter mentality, right? Like support, I'm going to support everybody else. And this is I'm going to raise both my hands and feet on this one. I'll support everyone else. And then I'm dragging at the end of the day. I have zero energy. I'm not taking care of myself. And we can only take care of others as well as we're taking care of ourselves. And that was a big lesson for me. So sometimes our limiting beliefs are that we're not worthy of that same self-care that we tell everybody else is so important.
Well, and isn't it interesting? We speak out of our mouths.
What made you chuckle, Jen?
I know, right? I was like,
I'm just like, we're speaking it out of our mouths, and we're coaching and we're mentoring and we're giving back to all the people around us. And yet what we're actually saying out of our mouth is what we need to hear inside.
Yeah. Yes.
The message that we're giving others is the message back back inside, back to ourselves, and we have the answers. Always. But being with really powerful people and allowing ourselves vulnerability and intimacy and trust in others allows us to really open up and blossom into, really what happens is the unknown. This uncertainty gets to be certain all of a sudden. And it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And if we take it back to you're having a vision, right? I have a vision. Some people have visions of losing weight. Some people have visions of a career change. Some people have visions of building a business, like building a relationship. There's all kinds of different visions. And when we're super clear on that vision and we have the tools to combat, right? Like all that automatic stuff that happens, that's like literally where the magic happens. And so if you're watching this, and I want you to really think about, what are your limiting beliefs? Like first of all, do you have a clear vision? That's what we talked about in the very first one, right? Having a clear vision of really what you want, not what everybody else says you want, but what you want. And then building that plan of how it's going to happen, and then having the support along the way to get past the limiting beliefs that are going to happen. Like it's just going to happen. It's human nature. But the key is, how fast are you getting past them? So I want to talk a little bit about some of the tools that we can use when it pops up, you're not worthy. When it pops up, comfort is a big nerd of mine, right? Like, oh, that's going to be a lot of work. It's just really cool to sit here on this couch and eat these Cheetos, and right. I mean, it's so easy to go there. So, and even though it's easy to go there, we get to have tools I get to have tools that I pull out of my backpack that get me out of that, because that's not serving me in what I want to build in my life. So what are some of the tools that you guys use when some of those limiting beliefs and some of those things that stop you?
Oh, 100%. I am all about asking myself, how am I doing? Like actually sitting in it, like feeling that question. Because when someone asks me, how am I doing? Like getting underneath it, like the doing is something we talk about in our spaces. And one of the things is I don't ask myself enough, how am I doing? I do a check-in with myself. So, to calm down limiting beliefs and get into my vision again, how am I doing in this moment? How am I doing in relationship, in my work, in my pleasure, in my life, in my exercise, my health? I ask those questions and I don't gloss over it. I get real serious with myself, because oftentimes it's like, we say this all the time. First question we ask when we call somebody, hi, how are you doing? Well, and
then we blaze past it.
Yeah, right away. Exactly. And in those moments when somebody actually says to you, not very good, there's that, wow, like authenticity, vulnerability. And now you want to talk. And the conversation goes from having an agenda to actually, how am I doing actually? So that's one of the things that I stop myself by holding back. My holding back starts with a question, and it is, what do I want and how am I doing?
Love that, Jen. Thank you.
Yeah.
How about you, Rima?
I think one of the tools that I use when it's tough or something I'm like not looking forward to doing, I am that Mary Poppins person. I'm like, okay, how do I make this fun? How do I laugh? How do I enjoy this? How do I, and there's some things I get that we get to do that maybe it's not appropriate for us to laugh,
Like what? I want to know what that thing is when it's not appropriate to laugh.
I thought I needed to throw that disclaimer out there because someone's going to say something. I don't know. But, and I taught it to my kids, like when they were scared or when they're going to college the first time or they're in, their first job. And I'm like, if you don't call me, I will help you find the fun. I will help you find the joy in it. I will help you find the funny, I remember my daughter one time, when she was very young, she had the room over the garage and there was a window in that room, and then the garage faced the street. And at one point she was afraid. She's like, Mom, what if I'm afraid somebody's going to climb in my window? I'm like, if they climb in your window, then they are the dumbest burglar and we can take them out, because this is the one window that faces the street where the street light is. They have to get a ladder. I mean, they have to go through a lot to get to your window when we have tons of other windows, it's like, and it made it just like she settled down. It was, so that's where I go initially is
a celebration.
I try to find the fun in it, in creating whatever it is I can.
Yeah, we like celebration. I know for me, it is very easy for me to get so stuck on results, right? Results, do, that we forget that like it's about how we're being. And are we having fun? Like, I don't want to do anything if I'm not enjoying it, if I'm not in complete joy. So one of the easy things that I do, I call it PBJ, peanut butter and jelly, right? Everybody can remember PBJ. So when I feel stuck, when I'm feeling in it, and we all know when we feel stuck, it feels icky. We're not in joy, like, it's a drag, it's heavy, all the stuff. And so when I'm in that, I'm like, PBJ, 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 PBJ. And the P is pause. Like I get to pause.
Yes.
And then breathe is the B. I get to pause and breathe. And then I get to choose joy. Like I get to choose joy. Why am I sitting in this? Why am I sitting? And I love a good girlfriend of mine, Karen, calls it, why am I sitting in my shitty diaper? We swore once, I'm going to swear again. Why am I sitting here sitting in my shitty diaper? And so we have this choice to sit there, or we have this choice to choose joy. And okay, I'm going to choose joy. What does that look like? What's my next right step? And talking yourself through that, so that you're not sitting in that ickiness feeling. Like, who wants to feel that? I don't want to feel that. I want to be in joy all the time. And so that's one of the tools that I use. But celebration, Jen, I'm going to second that, because I forget to have celebration. We forget to celebrate.
Well, and what comes up for me is when we think about going on a vacation. If I get to go to Hawaii, lucky Rima. Seriously, lucky Rima.
Blessed Rima, not lucky, blessed. She created.
Yeah, blessed and highly favored, I would say. Always in the sun. But for me, when I think about that, I think about going on a vacation. We get 2 vacations a year as working folk, right? And so it's not like we just fly around and just enjoy hot spots all the time. And what I'm saying here is, it's really in the journey of getting to go to Mexico, or getting to go to Hawaii, or getting to go to Bali. Because once we're there, 10 days, 14 days, 21 days, however long that vacation lasts, it's over in a blink of an eye. But getting there and the excitement of it and how many sleeps from the boys and the this and the that, like all the little, oh, and don't forget that and bring this along. And can you imagine what's going to happen when? And so there's that built up excitement that happens in the journey and in that celebration of it all, that when you get there, that destination is even that much more fruitful, that much more plentiful, that much more, I don't know, just inviting, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I love that. I love that. And and when we talk about like my life here in Hawaii, when I was in corporate and I would dream of, having a life like this, that's how it began. I'm like, when am I my happiest? When I am on vacation, when I'm planning on, like the day before that you go on vacation, no one can like, they can't, nothing can like mess anything up. It's like, I don't even care. I don't care if there's traffic. I don't care if I am going on vacation. Right. And I like that. I'm like, what would it be like to live like I'm on vacation every day? Wouldn't that be empowering? Wouldn't that be like, I wonder, what could I create from there? What could I, move forward? And that's how the seed was initially planted. And, that we got to this. But yes, I get to continue to celebrate this life every day. Every day.
Absolutely. And we get to come visit you for sure.
Oh, yes, please. Always invite.
So I love the question that you present, and I'm going to invite anyone who's watching this to ask themselves the same question. As you think about your 2023 vision, as you think about stepping into what's next for you, what does next cut look for you? When am I the most happiest? It's a great power question. When am I the most happiest? And guess what? You get to do more of that. You get to plan more of that moving forward, because that's when you're in your joy. That's what's making you happy. And so many times we're in the grind, right? We're doing stuff because we think we're supposed to, or because people have told us to. And we sit in that and wonder why we're unhappy. And so one of the things that keeps coming up, whether I'm in one-on-one coaching sessions or training groups, this concept of reset keeps coming up, because it's so easy with all the noise that's going on out there, with all the constant change and noise and all the stuff that's happening in the world today. It's easy to get off track, right? From a mindset perspective, it's easy to go there. It's easy to go where we're not happy and in the drift, we call it, and all of that. And so as we move into 2023, really taking a stand and saying, no, I'm really going to build my life around being happy. And when I'm there, I'm going to quickly shift. I'm going to quickly reset. And sometimes what happens is we have this blame and shame that's associated with resetting. And so I want to talk about that for a second, because I know we've been working through that a little bit in some of the groups that we're in. So let's talk about reset, like the shame and the blame that goes with it. Who wants to talk about that?
Wow.
Yeah, that's something we all want to jump into.
I know, right? It's so juicy. It's so juicy. And it's so true. When I'm in the drift and I know that when I'm sitting on the couch and I'm eating those Cheetos, I know I'm there. Like, it's not a secret. We most of the time know when we're there, but how do I quickly reset and get back to my vision and get back to grounded and back to where I say I want to go?
One of the things that supports me is support. Again, I'm honored to be surrounded by a lot of powerful people who are doing powerful things in their lives. The other thing that supports me is giving. When I find myself in a space where it's hard for me to pull myself out of. It's hard to get out of the couch. The Cheetos are great. My fingers are cut.
So good.
Right? And for me, it is, I bet if I can reach out and support someone else.
When in doubt, focus out.
I scroll through my phone. I start to scroll and I'm like, who can I call and say, hey, how's it going? What's going on with you? And give and support. Because I know as I give and support and coach and serve someone else, I can listen. I'll be serving myself.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to be saying to someone the exact thing that I get to have, or I get to say, or I get to hear.
Yeah.
So giving.
I love that.
Yeah.
So true. How about
and
you?
Trusting. When we give, we trust, and we get the support that we require too. I ask myself, like I said, how am I doing? And I evaluate, and then I move into committed action. and I check in. I really, you know, in being generous with words and sharing what's coming up for me with others, I recognize that I am not alone.
Mm.
That others are feeling exactly the same way I'm feeling. So my funk gets unfunked because because I actually start to realize that I am not the only one eating Cheetos on the couch. I am not the only one that is feeling how I'm feeling. And so there is, they say this, like there's an army in numbers, or whatever that word is. There's something in numbers, you know, and it's not like validation that I'm okay to eat Cheetos on the couch. It's more like, wow, there's validation, and there are other people that are funked right now, and they, you know, and so like you said, serving and sharing and being generous and trusting that when I open up and I allow this space within myself, get into my heart and say it out loud, I love you, and it's all going to be okay, someone is going to fill that void for me. Something is going to be said, and I'm going to hear the right message. And it may be coming out of my own mouth to somebody else, or something that they say comes back to me. Yes. And so, you know, not living lonely in this world is the most important thing. Whether you are feeling alone, and you know, because I know there's a lot of people out there looking at us like, oh yeah, it all sounds good. You're in all these groups and things like this, but actually you get to have that too. And it's like one phone call away. Phone somebody you haven't called in a while. You know, get into inspired action. Like if someone here is listening to this and they're in inspired action, to call that person and it's coming up for you just by hearing us talk this way, make that call, you know, because that person is thinking of you too. There's a reason that connection is there in that flow. So
and when you're in those places, you do tend to feel like you're the only one.
Yes.
I feel
victim.
Right?
Right? Woo!
And we're not. And you know, it's a story that we make up. Because as we're sitting here, we're like, yes, we can all relate to being in that space, you know, and if people are listening to us, they could probably relate to being in that space. So it's not that you're alone, but that's part of the illusion.
Right. Yeah. I know that there's been, Rima, I can almost remember the exact conversation. Like when I'm in it, and I simply will call and go, hey, Rima, hey, Jen, I'm in it. Yeah. Like I'm in it. I just need you to hold the bucket. Give me 30 seconds. And in that 30 seconds and in that connection, boom, it's gone. Right. So it doesn't even have to take a lot of time. Sometimes it's like, I just need to get this off my chest. I need to throw it up.
Yes.
And I'm going to give myself 30 seconds. And that's how we can support somebody. It's not sitting on the phone for an hour and letting them throw up. No, it's how can I support you to shift right now? And so having people like even my husband and I, right? Like we know when we're in it. And so it's like, how can I support you to shift right now? I love you. And how can I support you to shift right now? And just being able to, like you guys have said, be surrounded by people who will hold you high and not let you sit in that shitty diaper.
Yeah, BBJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that. I love that. And I love that the holding the bucket, because sometimes things just need to move through you. Yeah. But if you're not moving it through you, then it's stuck, then it stays inside of you. Yeah, you know, sometimes there's things that, you know, like, and I'm sure that we've all experienced it. You wake up and you're having a great day and whatever, and then you get around some people or you do some things and you're like, oh, I just feel
energy is real. Energy
maybe it's not your energy. It's, you know, you picked up some the energy that's out there. Allow it to move through you. Let it move through you. That's how you're going to get right back onto, you know, where you were before.
Yeah. So, and I think for me, it supports me to give myself a time frame, right? Okay, 5 minutes. I'm going to allow myself 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to allow myself a hot bath. I'm going to allow myself whatever it is, and being super intentional about I get to move through this because this is not serving me.
And you know what, trying the different modalities, like you said, the 5 minutes, the hot bath, like I have different modalities that are my go-to. I do headstands, that's, you know, but I'm, you know,
I love that.
It's what I do. And it helps to shift my world physically as well as literally, emotionally. It shifts my world when I do that. So I do inversions, but everybody gets to find the thing that works. Dancing. That's easy. Moving your body. I am a big believer in like, don't even worry about steps and what you look like. Stop it. Like, you know, just move your body however you feel called.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not about knowing a certain step. Move your body and shake off that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make it fun.
Make it fun. We're back to fun. I love it.
Fun.
I love it.
Get curious. Get fun.
Yeah. The last thing I want to talk about is clearing. And Jen, this is that you had brought this up. I don't remember if we were on live yet or not, but when we talk about energy and moving energy through us and, clearing is a part of that. So Jen, if you could talk to us, like from a clearing standpoint, what does that do for us when we're stuck?
Oh, I just had this conversation with my 13-year-old boy. It is not like any age can do this. Like I talk about this all the time. I literally say it out loud, clean and clear. Clean it up, clear it up. And why? Because we all know that we get into the funk because we're stuck somewhere. And why are we generally stuck? Because we think that things are not movable, because we get into the hardness of it. Oh, that's hard, And is it? Like it actually is, it like you said, Tina, it can be that fast. It's like literally like clean and clear. Okay, so what is a clearing? A clearing is like, hey, this is coming up for me. What's coming up for you when I'm with my hubby and we're having some stuck energy? And I've done this because of 4 years. We're just about getting married. So there's that ooey gooey sticky stuff that you don't want to talk about. And it's with my boy, my youngest. Like we're talking birds and bees at 13, right? So how do you talk like that with them? And I'm not a man, so I don't know what's okay to talk about, what's not okay to talk about. And I share all of that coming back around to cleaning and clearing looks like energy. It looks like I feel something over there is not working. It's like going to the mall and seeing a woman that you had an argument with 14 years ago that you still run away from. Okay, that actually happens. Yeah. And what would it look like for you to walk up to her and say, you know what, I haven't seen you in a long time. How's it been? How are you doing? And that's like the clean. And then the clearing is like, that really sucked that we had that really gross moment over wine that time 14 years ago, and she's not even thinking about that. And we've got the energy on it or whatever. And that's what a clean and a clear is for me. It's actually just, for me, it's like right now. Mm-hmm. That's how I do it, because we all know how families break apart, how people break apart, how friendships break apart. And it comes from one silly moment in life that we regret what we said when we spit it out of our mouth in the beginning, and we don't go in and talk about it at all. That's the clean and that's the clear.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. So it's acknowledging breakdowns. It's acknowledging that I did or said something that wasn't okay. And I acknowledge it. I take responsibility for it. Here's what got in the way. And guess what? Here's what I commit to moving forward. So in your relationships, if we think about relationships and 10-10 relationships, that cleaning and clearing happens. It doesn't get stuck. Like, okay, this is happening. Okay, clean and clear. I acknowledge my breakdown. Here's what got in the way. Here's what I'm committed to. And there's no shame and blame in it because we all get stuck.
Oh yeah.
Like we all get stuck.
Yeah,
and so once that's away. Yeah. And once it's cleaned and cleared, now it's clean. There's no energy on it. And we can all move forward back to our vision, right? To what we really want to create.
And cleaning and clearing is not having expectations. It's not like, well, I'm going to go and talk to this person, but they better own up to what they did. And they better, she was wrong. And he, it's about like clearing it off of us, like Jen, the example that you gave, the person that you had the awkward conversation with over wine years ago, and you're still carrying that around. Like, even just saying, you know what, we had this awkward conversation and I've made it mean all the stuff these years. I've made up all these stories and, I'm just going to let it go. So I'm just like, coming clear and, whether you'd love to have a relationship with that person or not, get rid of the energy. It's for you. It's not even about the other person.
It's
so
not.
You don't have to enroll us and you don't have to enroll anyone in how wrong they were. Let it go, right? It's about releasing, because you are holding on to that energy. It is residing with you. So this is what you do for yourself. This is about forgiveness. This is about moving on for you. This is about you. It's not about anyone else.
I love that.
And you always learn something in it. That's the thing. When I clean and clear, I learn that I really take things personally. It wasn't about you, babe. Like, especially with my husband, he's like, what are you talking about? I was thinking about work. There's nothing wrong. What's wrong? And I'm like, oh, okay, got it, man brain. right? So yeah, it really is that simple. It oftentimes is not about you. We get to take ourselves out of the equation.
Right, right. So many good tools today. I want to thank you both
Yeah.
for being here today. We are committed as a team to show up here every Tuesday and just talk about vision and 2023 and all the good stuff. So what I want anybody who's listening right now to do is in the comments, we are live right now. So in the comments, what are you committed to? Based on everything you've heard today, are you committed to using one of the tools we talked about? Are you committed to creating a vision for next year that's clear? Are you committed to creating a 10-10 relationship with somebody? What is that? What does 2023 look like? And what are you truly committed to? Not a New Year's resolution that's going to be done by January 19th. Because like, what is it? 85% of the people abandon their New Year's resolution by the 19th of January or something. This is something like, how do you make a lifestyle change?
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that too. Talk about like how to take that further. But anyway, that's a conversation.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next week we'll talk
Stretchy,
about that.
unattainable, stretchy, unattainable.
Yes.
You know, uncomfortable. No more Cheetos. Well, some Cheetos.
Well, yeah.
In moderation.
Yes.
Don't rule out the Cheetos altogether.
All right. In the comments below what you are committed to, and then join us back here next Tuesday for another round. Sound good?
Woo, be committed to that.
Yes, exactly. All right. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Check out our programs and events at trueyouteams.com. And until next time, make it an amazing day.